Bonjour! Moving on in lesson 3.11, this is sort of synthesizing, this next section is synthesizing everything we've learned about articles up until this point. So you know 3 different kinds of articles so far. You know definite articles, le, la, les, l'apostrophe. You know indefinite articles, un, une, des. And you know now the partitive article, du, de, la, de l'apostrophe. Alright, you know when to use them, mostly. So this section is just giving you all of that information in one little chart and making sure you can practice knowing when to use which kind of article based on context. So far, usually I tell you, oh, you need to use the definite article or you need to use the indefinite. I will still do that going forward, depending on the assignment, but this section is specifically about practicing knowing when to use which kind of article. So I'm going to hit a button, and a big chart's going to come up on the screen, because I can't make it animate sort of individually. So there's going to be a lot of text. Don't freak out. We're going to go through it little bit by little bit. Okay, so you can see we're split into 2 columns. Use, and then the definite article, the indefinite article, the partitive article, and then to describe. So these are the kinds of articles, and this section is when you use them, and then an example of how you use them. Alright, so we are going to use the definite article, le, la, l'apostrophe, and les, to describe a noun used in the general sense or a specific thing. Okay? So a noun used in the general sense, the example here is j'aime le gâteau. J'aime le gâteau. I like cake. Okay, so you can see in English, we don't even use an article there. But in French, you have to. So when I say I like cake, I'm talking about I like cake generally, right? In the general sense, I like cake. The concept, like it as a category, I like it. In French, we use the definite article to express that. You will also use the definite article when you're talking about a specific thing. So you can see here, voici le gâteau. Here is the cake, right? Like the cake I made for you, the specific cake, right? I'm not talking about cake in general, not talking about just a cake, I'm talking about the cake. The special cake, the cake. This is often how we use the definite article in English when we're talking about a specific thing. So voici le gâteau, here is the cake. Alright, we use the indefinite article in French, une and des, when we're talking about one or several whole items. Okay, so our example, voici un gâteau. Voici un gâteau. Here is a cake. Here's a cake. Alright, so this is different from here's the cake, right? The cake is some specific cake. Here's a cake. It's just some random cake. Now it does imply that it is an entire cake. Here's a cake. So a full cake, no one has eaten from it. It's not a slice of cake. So here's a whole cake, but it's not a specific one. It's just a cake. And then finally, we use the partitive article in French, de, l'apostrophe. This is the newest one you've learned, so you have like the most recent practice with it. We use that to describe some, a portion, or certain amount of something. Okay, so for instance, in the same vein as the rest of these, voici du gâteau. Voici du gâteau. Here is some cake. Okay, so in this sentence, I don't have a whole cake. I'm just showing you some cake, a slice of cake, a serving of cake, right? So those are the differences. This is how we use these articles. Like I said, you already know all of these rules. This section of lesson 11 is just about synthesizing all of that knowledge and practicing applying it like in context. So a few other notes about le choix des articles. choice of articles. There are a few verbs that if you see them, you can know, oh, it's probably going to be this article. So for instance, aimer and préférer. Aimer and préférer are usually going to be followed by the definite article, because usually after these verbs, you are talking in a general sense, right? So you can see, mes amis aiment la glace. My friends like ice cream, right? Here, ice cream, we're talking about it in a general sense. My friends generally like ice cream. Aiment la glace. And then, préférer, moi je préfère le gâteau. Me, I prefer cake. Once again, I'm talking about cake in the general sense, so I use the definite article. So look out for that, aimer and préférer, usually followed by the definite article, because generally you're using them in the general sense. Okay, now the partitive article also has some phrases, some expressions, some verbs that it is often preceded by, such as all of these. Voici, here is. Voilà, there is. Il y a, there is or there are. Okay? Boire, manger, prendre, acheter, vendre, commander, avoir, vouloir. Okay, so these verbs generally, they're often used with the partitive article, right? So here's some cake, here's some water, oh, there's some cereal in the pantry, I'm drinking some soda. Like all of those sums, that's the partitive article, right? You're not drinking like a whole, like 2 liters of soda generally. Some soda. Manger, I'm not eating a whole chicken, I'm eating some chicken. I'm not buying like all of the beans the store has, I'm buying some beans. Now there are exceptions to this. I don't know what that bell was. There are some exceptions to this, and they are, oh no. Sorry, they are this. I'll just show you. So depending on context, you can also use definite or indefinite articles with some of those verbs. So let's just look at the verb commander, to order. So je commande la glace. I'm ordering the ice cream. All right, so the ice cream that's on the menu. I'm looking at a dessert menu. There's ice cream and there's cake. Oh, I'm ordering the ice cream. Je commande la glace. Now if I say je commande une glace, I'm ordering an ice cream. All right, so like 1 serving of ice cream. I'm at an ice cream truck and I'm just ordering a single cone. Je commande une glace. I'm ordering an ice cream. Then je commande de la glace. I'm ordering some ice cream. I'm ordering some amount of ice cream. Now, the partitive article is not used with a noun that is the subject of the sentence. For example, il y a du lait et de la glace dans le réfrigérateur. There's some milk and some ice cream in the refrigerator. However, if I were going to make milk and ice cream the subject of this sentence by putting it at the beginning, I don't use the partitive article. I would use the definite article. Le lait et la glace sont dans le réfrigérateur. The milk and the ice cream are in the refrigerator. And lastly, the partitive article can be used with nouns that aren't food. Usually it's used with food, but not always. So you can see here, as-tu de l'argent? Do you have any, some, a certain amount of money? Do you have any money? Or, cet artiste a du talent. This artist has a certain amount of talent. Right? Most often you're going to see it, if it's not with food, you're going to see it with the word money, argent. But the other most common is like some kind of like characteristic of a person, like some kind of personality trait. And that is it for les choix des articles your practice is, like I said, just practicing choosing when you need to use the definite, indefinite, or partitive articles. So make sure you're referencing your notes while you're working on that practice, because it's a little difficult, but like I said, you already know all of these rules. It's just synthesizing. So email me if you have any questions, and au revoir.